my name is Ahmed. I'm your examiner today. Could you please tell me your name?
Hello, my name is Metiye Zuhal Çavga.
Okay, Metiye. Um, in the first part of the speaking exam, I'm going to ask you a few questions about yourself. Are you ready?
Okay, I am ready.
Okay. First, which magazines and newspapers do you read and why?
Okay, actually, to be honest, these days, generally, I don't prefer follow the news. I know that's not that much good because I need to know what's going on around me, but always there is some bad news, and there is an application in the internet, Ekşi Dictionary, in Turkish people so uses that, and generally, I prefer to follow news from there.
Okay, thank you. And what kinds of article are you most interested in and why?
Uh, Actually, since when I was a little girl, I am interested in art, and that's why always I am trying to follow the articles is about art, especially music.
Okay, thank you. And have you ever read a newspaper or magazine in a foreign language? When and why?
In a foreign language. Okay, actually, for the last 3 years, I am trying to read something in English, and I am also trying to read some articles in English to improve my vocabulary and my some grammar structure. And it's so useful. Sometimes it could be a little bit hard to understand, but day by day, I realized I am improving.
So do you think reading a newspaper or magazine in a foreign language is a good way to learn the language?
Yes, I think that can be the best way because reading is so important to learn vocabulary and to learn the grammar structure and some more.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to the second part of the exam. Uh, I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see the question. Okay,
Okay,
so you will have 1 minute to think about this question, and then I'll give you 2 minutes to talk about it. Okay, so
okay.
I'll share my screen with you in a second. Okay, here you go. So you have 1 minute to think about this question. Okay, your time's up.
Okay.
So you may start now.
Now I'm gonna talk about Adana. My favorite restaurant is in Adana, and the restaurant name is Seven Hill Restaurant. I love this restaurant a lot because the landscape and the place is so nice. There is a big island in Adana. We say Sevgi Island, and that's so famous. And the weather is so nice there. That's why I always prefer to eat something there. And another so important thing that there is an opportunity in the restaurant. Some of musicians, some of musical students coming there and they are playing some instrument, and when I eat something I can listen them also. I love that. And about food, Adana is also always so cheap, and you can eat something very cheap and so delicious. Most of the time, Adana's people love meat. Everybody knows that, but I am opposite of that people. Most of the time, I prefer to eat some vegetables.
Okay, are you done?
Yes, still
Okay,
I have
thank you.
them.
Thank you so much. So now let's move on to the third part of the exam. The questions are related to those in part 2, okay? So are you ready?
Mhm.
So
Yes,
why do you think people go to restaurants when they want to celebrate something?
I think that can be a little bit change activities, because always generally we are eating something in our room, and that can be more practical to eat something outside, because you don't need to prepare anything. You can just sit and eat, and you can find some different delicious food, maybe different cultures food. Maybe you can, because we haven't got talented about cooking everything, maybe we have to learn some different cultures food, and that can be nice activity. Okay, as I thought.
Okay, you're done? Okay, so
Yes,
which are more popular in your country, fast food restaurants or traditional restaurants? And why do you think this is?
actually
That is.
uh, it can change from person to person, and especially it's related with our generation as well. For example, most of the time teenagers, I prefer to eat fast food, but uh, above, for example, if you are above the 13, probably you would prefer to eat something in traditional restaurants. And also, if you ask me, I prefer traditional restaurants, because I love their atmosphere and I care about my healthy. I think that's more healthy.
Okay. And well, some people say that food in an expensive restaurant is always better than food in a cheaper restaurant. Would you agree?
Can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah, some people say that food in an expensive restaurant is always better than food in a cheap restaurant. Would you agree?
Actually, I'm not sure about that, but I can agree. Most of the time, I experienced that. Generally, I prefer to eat something at my home, but I asked a lot of different my friends, and they told me that they experienced that situation. They are spending a lot of money, and they don't. Most of the time, they don't satisfy what they did.
Okay. So, do you think that there will be greater choice of food available in shops in the future, or will there be less choice in the future?
Yes, I think it could be in the future, because day by day everything is changing, and we know there is a very big and deep array of in our technology, and people are trying to be more practice and more individualist these days, and I believe that in the future that can happen.
Okay, and the last question is, what effects has modern technology had on the way food is produced?
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, what effect has modern technology had on the way food is produced?
Okay. Um, Let me think. Sorry, I have
It's
never
okay.
thought about that before. For the last time, can you repeat your question?
Sure. What effect has modern technology had on the way food is produced?
Okay.
I mean, the effect of technology on food production.
I think both of them can be. Food of production is changing, and technology is affecting that as well.
Right.
But maybe also it changed our eating culture as well. For example, they are producing some device to prepare some food. and we are trying to learn how to use that. And then we change our eating culture. We started to eat something coming from other cultures.
Okay, thank you so much. This is the end of your exam, and enjoy the rest of the
Thank you.
day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see why Metish deserves a band score 6. Well, according to the official IELTS band scriptures, candidates are evaluated on 4 different components: fluency and coherence, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So let's take a closer look at the first one. For fluency and coherence, band score 6 is for a candidate who is willing to speak at length, though may lose coherence at times due to occasional repetition, self-correction, or hesitation, and uses a range of connectives and discourse markers, but not always appropriately. Actually, Metier used a variety of connectives and discourse markers, and most of the time they were appropriate, which I think she deserves 6.5 when it comes to coherence. Now, for the lexical resource, according to band description, someone who scores a band score 6 has a wide enough vocabulary to discuss topics at length and make the meaning clear in spite of inappropriacies, and generally paraphrases successfully. In this speaking exam, we see Metier use enough vocabulary to discuss topics, and she was mostly clear despite using some inappropriate or inaccurate words. For example, she said, "I care about my healthy," but she meant to say health. I care about my health. Or people are trying to be more practice, but I think she meant to say people are trying to be more practical. Okay, now let's take a look at the grammatical range and accuracy, the third component of this band description. According to the band description, band 6 is given to a candidate who uses a mix of simple and complex structures, but with limited flexibility, or may make frequent mistakes with complex structures, though these rarely cause comprehension problems. Well, Metier was able to use both simple and complex structures. Though she did it with limited flexibility, she mostly gave reasons for her ideas and also used connectors to form complex structures. Also, she had frequent mistakes with complex and simple structures, especially in the use of present simple, present perfect continuous, and prepositions. For example, she said, "Since when I was a little girl, I am interested in art." But I think she meant to say, "I have been interested in art." Or another place, she said, "Trying to follow the article is about art." I think she was trying to say, "I'm trying to follow the articles that are about art." Okay, so the last component of a band descriptor is pronunciation. A band score 6 is given to someone who uses a range of pronunciation features with mixed control, shows some effective use of features, but this is not sustained, can generally be understood throughout, though mispronunciation of individual words or sounds reduce clarity at times. Well, Metiyah's pronunciation was okay, though she had a bit of accent. But the only thing I'm a bit concerned about is her intonation and flow of speech. So she needs to improve a bit more on. She needs to improve a bit more on that part or that aspect of the pronunciation. For this reason, she deserves a band score 6. So, what can she do to get a higher score? She needs to do a bit of practice on the use of tenses, especially present simple and present perfect continuous. She also needs to practice paraphrasing to elaborate on her ideas. This can help her speak longer in part 2. And also, she may need some help on some more practice on her pronunciation.